Evelyn of the Evelyn Inc. And I am back with a familiar face that you should know by now with Patricia, aka Guys Design, here on YouTube. And listen, if it's your first time joining us, we want to welcome you to what we like to call just our live girl chat, where we take the conversations that we have offline behind the scenes and we thought it would be nice to bring them online, let y'all kind of listen in, interact, ask questions. And so, if you are new, let me tell you a little bit more about Patricia. Patricia is a wife, she is a nurse, she is a professor, she is an entrepreneur, a sister, a daughter, a good friend. She speaks about designing your life and womanhood and living your life on purpose. If you are not subscribed to her YouTube channel, Guys Design here on YouTube, make sure you go over there. She does all types of videos. She has a singles club series. So even though she's married now, she still ain't forgot about us singles. You know what I'm saying? Giving us the tea, giving us the game, giving us all the goodies. And so, yeah, we just want to get together. We've been doing this for a couple of months now, and people were like, yo, keep it going. So we was like, we gonna keep it a going. And if you're coming from Patricia's channel, you don't know who I am. I'm just Evelyn, you know what I'm saying? Just a random girl on these internet streets that likes to run my mouth. Okay. So today, Patricia and I decided to talk about the difference between being demanding and having the ability to command, right? And so I know you're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And we're gonna get into that. But while we're waiting on people to hop in, Patricia, give me your thoughts. Like, how did we get to this topic?
Um, well, I think unfortunately this is a territory that's difficult to navigate for women. Because while we want to be heard and everything is about being heard and having a voice and being equal and seen, equally valuable, equal in power, equal in so many ways. And I think a lot of times we don't understand the power of our femininity and realizing that we can tap into those things to, I hate to phrase it this way, I just don't have a better way of saying it, get what we want, get what we desire, get what we set out to get. And so a lot of us dip into masculinity, in my opinion, and we demand things. We demand things out of or from people instead of commanding or inspiring or empowering people in the process. And we're getting frustrated because we're operating in a space that is not natural to us, and we're not as effective in. And to be honest, it always backfires. I've never seen it work.
Never.
I've never seen it work. I've always seen it backfire. So those are like my general thoughts about it. And I think that the more that we return to who we are as just spiritual, nurturing beings, that we are, that we will be a lot more effective in every area of our life.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think I was telling you the last time we chatted last night. Y'all, listen, we be talking, y'all. So let me just last night. Oh, thank you, ladies. Y'all are so sweet. That a lot of times people they get what they want, but they don't want what they got.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of times, particularly women are like you said, demanding, fighting, arguing, to get what they want. And the reality is, if I cannot speak for all women, I cannot speak for let me put that out there. I cannot speak for all women, but in my observation, what they're fighting for, screaming for, demanding about is not really what they want, is what they think they can get. And this notion that you want to be excuse me, equal, here's the thing, we're already equal. Equal in value, but different in function. And I think a lot of women have bought into this idea, no, we can be equal in function. Just because we can doesn't mean we always should. And so, I think that's why we kind of talked about wanting to do this live, because we see this in the workplace, we see it on social media, we see it in relationships, we see it in friendships. And it's like, if you really knew how to leverage your influential authority, you wouldn't always be worried about positional authority, because influential, you could be, you could rank anywhere in a business, you could rank anywhere in relationship to someone, and if you have influence over them, that is, in my opinion, more powerful than if you just had positional authority over them. So, and I know I just want to say to some of the ladies who may be watching, like, I know y'all probably like, what are we talking about today? You know what I mean? But, and I know it's a little intangible. So our goal is going to try to take this intangible concept and bring it down to something a little bit more concrete. Caribbean Curls is here, and she said, "Ooh la la, ladies, looking very pretty. Thank you so much." And G Angel is here, and she said, "Hello, so glad to catch the live." And she likes my purple eyeshadow. Thank you so much. Listen, I've been trying to keep up with Patricia. Patricia, what have you out here looking homeless?
Ah,
Never put no makeup on in your life. You know what I'm saying? You be sitting next to Patricia looking like Celie from The Color Purple. I'd be like, I got to get my life together. Listen. Oh my goodness. So, hey, Yaya. Oh, Yaya, you're going to love this topic today. Feminist Success is here. She says, hey, ladies. Yes, we're talking about the difference between being demanding and having the ability to command. Um, and so, where should we start, Patricia? So we kind of have given our perspective, but like where should we dive in? Because there's so many areas where we could talk about the difference and the power of being commanding versus being demanding.
well, first, can we talk about it really not being what people want? Because I think if we can get that, people will be like, okay, we need to find another way then. So what? Because what I realize is, as women, we hyper focus on, and this is gonna sound so bad, but it is what it is. We hyper focus on the idea of equality, and I am completely aware that, and I know that I'm not the same as my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and that we have different roles. My role isn't not as important. His role isn't more important than me, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But we both work and function together as a unit, right? If there's a spider on the ground, I already know I'm not about to be the one that's gonna kill it. Okay? I'm gonna be the one that's probably screaming, depending on how big it is, and standing on the couch, right? That's his job. And we already know that's what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of y'all are fighting for this pseudo equality.
Ooh, call it what it is, pseudo equality.
Pseudo equality. You guys want to be able to kill the spider. And what I'm saying is, you don't want to kill the spider because sometimes they're furry, sometimes they got multiple legs, and you don't want to be the one to do it, but you think you do. And I think that's the thing is we don't know what that means. Some women don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There are some what I call benefits of being people open doors for you. People let you stand in line first. People, you know what I'm saying? Like my husband is really like anal about me not standing on the side of the street. He wants to be able to stand on the side of the street when we're walking. Like he'll just move. If we're walking, that's like his thing because he wants to be able to protect. We get to be protected. Like to me, there are so many benefits to this while we're fighting to be able to kill spiders. We're fighting to be able to do lawn care. We're fighting to be able for what?
For why?
No, no, I don't see it that way. I don't. I don't. I don't like getting hot and sweaty. I don't like my nails to break, and I'm not ashamed to say so. Right? And in the same way, there's places where we function and we thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That they can't function in. You know what I'm saying? Like my husband's not a cook. He can. He won't go hungry, but he's not about to make you a 3-course meal. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he could YouTube it and get it together, but that's not his forte. You know what I mean? Just to use an example. And I hate the fact the things that we should be like we should be proud of have been made to be little. You know, and that is the agenda. But let's not talk about that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
listen. So I want to take it a little further than killing the spider, right? And I kind of want to. I even kind of want to take it outside of what some people would call gender roles, which not really a fan of that phrase. Not for the reason that people think, but that's a conversation for another day. However, I watched a video. We talked about this. Like I've watched a video, and I've know of someone in real life who were in relationships with men. And I want to say this: the commanding versus demanding is not just about with like your romantic partner, but that's what we're starting there, right? Because it could be like this on the job. It could be like this in your volunteer organization. It could be like this in your family. It could be like this in multiple relationships. But the two stories that are very similar are instances of women who were in relationships with men. I think one wasn't married and one was. Um, and they had set on this path of I'm gonna pay half of everything because I can. And one story goes on that the woman is making $40,000 a year, whatever, that's fine. And she was paying half of all of the household bills. And the guy that she was living with, not her husband, was making 100 grand and paying half. Now, first glance, you're like, okay, what's the problem? But if you really like, you put yourself in that situation. So you're living at $100,000 level on a $40,000 salary, and you're paying half of 100,000. You're struggling. You're already stretched beyond your means, right? And this person that you have decided to live with is well aware and is allowing you to, because I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line you said it's okay, I got it. You said somewhere down the line, nope, okay, we equal. I want to do half. Now let me flip it. They was living together. Let's move it a little deeper. I knew of a couple. Husband was very successful. Wife was very successful. When they were dating, she was very adamant about paying half, right? Because she didn't want him to think that she was after his money. She didn't want him to think that she couldn't take care of herself. She didn't want him to think yada 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 yada. Okay, you can already see how I feel about this. So what happened? They get married. He making real good money. She making real good money. Okay, just think of them like the Huxtables, right? They was on that level. One kid comes, no biggie. She's still working. He's still working. Two kids come, no biggie. She's still working. He's still working. Three kids come. She's like, I think I want to go part time. He's like, all right, but they still splitting everything in half. Okay. Fourth kid comes. She's like, you know what? I want to be at home. He's like, sure, no problem. How you gonna cover your half? To his wife, who bore him four children. And what I'm saying, ladies, is this: I want to be treated equal. I'm not buying it. What I think you really want is to be cherished. I think you want to be adored. I think you want to be um, loved. I think you want to be someone to indulge you. I think a lot of women, I can't speak for all women, you wouldn't mind if somebody else got it most of the time. And so she found herself in this situation with this man where it's like, you got to be kidding me. I'm not working. We now have four children. What you mean have? But sis, that's you trained him that way. You told him that's the kind of relationship you wanted. So that's what you got. You probably demanded it. I got it. It's cool. No, let me show you. Okay. And so all these people who want to, be equal in function, because we equal in value, who want to be equal in function, y'all gonna get what y'all want. Y'all ain't gonna want what you got. Because let me tell you, when they start drafting people, don't call me. Don't call me. Evelyn ain't gonna be there. Listen, am I doing too much? Did I lose the comments? Because I feel like it's quiet today.
I'm not. I'm not gonna be there either.
So that's how we starting off today, ladies. I know y'all was like, oh, okay. I thought we was gonna do something, lighthearted. Feminine Success says it sounds like flawless femininity. Love it. Let me tell you, I took this course from her a couple of years ago, and it's a game changer. And it really does break down the difference between femininity and masculinity and understanding what that looks like. And I think when you don't understand that, you find yourself, I won't even say that, when you don't understand that, you find yourself fighting for things that you shouldn't fight for. And also, I think when you don't understand the power that you already have, you find yourself trying to fight for somebody else's power. I'm pretty sure, Patricia, you've heard men say, which at least I have. I don't want to assume multiple times. Women, y'all have all the power, y'all just don't know it. Y'all got all the power,
Mm-hmm.
y'all just don't know it. Y'all got all the power, y'all just don't know it. And I'm not gonna lie, for a portion of my life, I was like, what does that mean? What is this power that you are referencing? Where is it? How do I use it? Where did I get it from? And then once I realized what they were talking about, I was like, you might be right. I might have all the power, but not to be misused.
Yeah.
But it's definitely to our benefit. So Rashida's here. Hey, Rashida. She says, I'm driving, but she totally agrees. Yay. So where do we go from here now that we have kind of laid the groundwork for commanding versus demanding?
We could talk about what it looks like in different areas of our lives. Um, let's start with relationships because I think that's where it probably is. That's arguable, but it is. I was gonna say the most damaging, but I think it can be very damaging in your career as well. You know, first of all, just to back up to the story you were sharing earlier, and I talk about this on my channel, how important it is to really set the stage in the relationship because you set the stage, you set the standard, and if he wants to be with you, he will follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
Except for you set a standard really didn't want that really wasn't good for you, and then you ended up regretting it later. And so, from the very beginning, you need to set a standard of I'm the woman. I'm something to be cherished. I'm something to be protected. I'm something to be loved. Um, I'm something to be admired. You know what I mean? And I'm precious. I'm precious. I'm a gift. The idea of women and children first, or secure the women and children. Like the idea that we are precious, and I am precious to you. Set that standard early. I'm not one of the homies. You know what I'm saying?
And call me bruh.
Don't call me bruh. I'm not one of your friends. Um, I can be a friend to you, but I'm not one of the friends or one of your friends.
You're right.
Or how would you say like one of your little friends?
I ain't one of your friends.
You know what I'm saying? So set that standard very early and carry yourself as such, and not in a demanding way, but a commanding way. And how you do that is treating yourself as such,
Mm.
treating yourself as precious, treating yourself as delicate. Delicate not meaning weak, but delicate. How do you look? How do you smell? Like, how do you carry yourself? Do you carry yourself in a way that people understand that you're precious and that you're strong but also delicate, and that are you able to be vulnerable? All of these things, and so that you let him know there's a certain level of protection that I require. And it's required. I mean, I don't need, you know what I'm saying? But like, listen, if there's a noise going on downstairs in the middle of the night, I'm not getting up out of this bed.
Um,
You're going downstairs, and that's a given. And so I think setting that standard very early is important. But unfortunately, in communication with just people in general, like forget just, with the opposite sex, a lot of us are still in the sort of toddler syndrome, have the toddler syndrome where we throw tantrums.
Mm.
Um, and throwing tantrums in the real world doesn't get you what you really want, right? You just end up crying and you throw yourself on the ground until you're tired, and then up comes the next thing. You know what I'm saying? But understanding that there is a more effective way to communicate that doesn't involve throwing a tantrum, but that involves setting your standard and setting a stage for conversation about what your desires are. And that's to me what commanding is rather than demanding.
Yeah, to me, I think you said something so important, which, and I don't want to like just graze over. It's kind of like when you know that you're precious and you know that you're valuable, and you know, I'm gonna use the phrase is very probably what you bring to the table. I have a couple of things to say about that. I think part of the problem is that I think women don't know what that value is. I remember I had a friend one time and she was, we were in our 20s at the time. And she was like, I just don't understand why the guys I'm dating are sticking around. She was like, I got X number of degrees. I make X number of dollars. I work at X number company. And I was like, girl, because you're marketing things to them that they don't really care about, and I was like, you're marketing things to them that you would look for. That's not what they looking for. Not the kind of man that you want. He's not really pressed. Those things are bonuses, right? But that's not what he's looking for. And I think that women don't under. I think part of the reason why they don't set the standard or don't know how to set the standard because they don't know what they're setting the standard for. I heard Ashley Empowers do a webinar one time called the favor factor, and she was talking about, she was like, read that scripture again. He that finds a good wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I am the conduit for the favor. I am the vessel for the favor. And once you understand, bro, your favor come through me. Like, your favor come through me. It comes from God, but it comes through me, bruh. What you don't like? I mean, and like, for people who are not believers, listen. I mean, I don't know how else to explain this, but when you think about a lot of the stories, in the scripture in the Bible, the women had such strong influence to the point where God was like, "Hey, listen, don't marry outside of these group of people because their influence is going to be so strong. You're going to be away from me." And it was true. When people talk about Jezebel, that's just femininity being distorted, right, on a whole nother level. Okay, and that's a whole nother thing when you're abusing the power. And so I think the first thing is, I don't think that enough women understood the power that they have. More, yes, the power that you have with your beauty. Yes, the power that you have with your body. Yes, the power that you have to bring life into the world. Also, the power that's in your mind. The power to have influence over men, other people, your environments. Like you said, the power to set the tone, right? Feminist Success says all the time, and she's on the live stream, like, women set the tone, men set the pace. You set the tone in your home. You set the tone in your relationships. You set the tone at work. You wherever you go, you set the tone, the standard. What will be tolerated will not be tolerated. If you have a chaotic house, it's because you decided to have a chaotic house. If you want a peaceful home, the woman sets that tone, and everybody falls in line. And you have to know that that's because, like you said, that's how you have decided how you want to live as a woman, and that's how you treat yourself. So I think the first part is you have to understand how valuable you are. If you do not know that, it's kind of like trying to appraise a diamond. If you don't understand the different types of diamonds, the different cuts of diamonds, the different clarities of diamonds, trying to put a price tag on that diamond is going to be very difficult if you don't understand the intricacies of diamond cuts. I think that we have lost our identity of what it means to be a valuable woman. And so, because of that, we have decided we'd rather be a man.
Mm.
And so, when you don't know the function of something, then you abnormally use it, you abuse it. And I think women are fighting to be abnormally used. And it's like, sis, if you understood your function and your value, girl, you could care, you wouldn't be fighting. And shout out to Yaya. She says this all the time. She was like, and look at the people. and the results that they have gotten. The results that they have gotten. Uh oh, Patricia, did I lose you? Okay, while we wait for Patricia to hop back on, I'm going to put some of these comments on the screen. So, um, Grace Inspired says when my hubby and I met, I made 75K and he made 114K, and I paid zero and still pay zero. Now we have kids and I'm a stay-at-home mom. He's the sole provider, just like my dad was. Femininity is power. Girl, yes. Um, and she says, she came back and she says, uh-oh, you guys, I lost Patricia. Hold on a second, please. Uno momento. I don't know what happened. Let's see if we can get it back. Thank you guys. She said, when I was in the workforce, femininity opened doors and disarmed any haters. Uh oh. By the time I left work, was making 100K because people advocated for me and gave me opportunities. Listen, that's a whole thing, right? Like, we can get into femininity is beneficial to you. Let me. I need to see what happened to Patricia. Hold- 1 second. Take a little snack break. Hey. What happened? I'm trying to get you back online. I have you. I have the thing on mute. Okay, we just lost power for whatever reason really quick. So oh, okay. I'm trying to internet. Why is everybody else's internet except for ours? It seemed like it. We just lost power for like a second, but okay, it still ended up cutting out. Let me see if it's up. Yeah. Hold on a second. Pause. I'm gonna mute you and tell them what's going on. Hold on. Okay. So, ladies, listen. Patricia lost power for a quick second, and so we're just trying to work out the technical details. So we're not going to log off, right? But what I want you to do in the meantime, girl, grab a snack, grab a beverage, put your questions in the chat, because I want to stay on this live stream. I don't want to have to come back and start another one if we can. But if y'all could give us just a few minutes. So if you see me talking but you can't hear me, I'm talking to her as we work it all out. Because I feel like, listen, this is just the devil trying to be busy, okay, y'all? Because this topic is so good. Okay, so give us a second. We'll be right back. Okay, girl. Are you trying to call me? Uh-huh. Let me. I'm trying to call you on Skype. It keeps saying you're not online. Why is it? Okay, let me see. I don't want to close out Ecamm Live, but let me close out Skype. And let me try to see if I can get you back in via Skype. It's not coming through? It's me calling. Seeing it on my end. What's happening? Okay. They're like, haha, okay. I'm like, listen, it's just a hater today. Okay, let me try to call you now. I logged out, I'm about to log back in of Skype, and I'm about to call you. The hateration that's happening right now. Like, we ain't never had this problem. Why does it not give me this? Okay, there we go. Okay. Why is it saying you're not online? That's let me try this. Hmm. So odd.
You know what? Let me. The thing is that I don't want to have to connect to my phone, but let me see. What the heck? Lord,
What?
whatever, whatever is going on right now. I don't know how it's gonna be.
It said you weren't online.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me disconnect from my phone. Let me do that, and then try to call you. It's not.
Did you?
So how do I pick it up? What is going
What is
on?
happening?
This is so weird.
I've never. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, girl.
Oh my goodness.
Girl, let me see. Okay, are we back? Y'all let us know in the comments if y'all can see and
Yeah.
hear us. Let us know. I know it's gonna be a little bit of delay. Y'all listen, the devil is busy today. So
Oh
busy.
my goodness.
Can I hear you though?
Yes, no, maybe so.
Uh-oh.
What?
There
I hear there's like an echo.
no, it's like a mad delay. Like I see your face move first and then like a few seconds later I hear your voice.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so let's can you see the chat? Let me see. Can y'all hear us? I hope we didn't lose them.
I see that.
Okay, the delay is gone now.
Okay.
Why do I have all these different oh, girl, why is it giving me 5,000 different screens? Okay, we're gonna work it out. I just want to know if they can see and hear us. Can you see us, Patricia,
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube?
Yep.
Okay, we're back.
I think so. Or is this from before?
It says we're still live. Let me,
Do
y'all.
you have the question up right now?
Yeah, I have. Let me see. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, Naomi says yes. Okay, good. Because y'all listen, double busy today in all the months we have not had. Okay, let's reel it back. Okay, good. You can hear us clearly. No, yes, no worries. I'm listening while sewing mask. She was a little delayed. It's fine. Okay, great. I can hear you guys clearly and no delay. Okay. So, all right. We're gonna reel it back because Grace Inspired put something really. I'm gonna give you the first part of her comment, and
Okay.
then we'll get back to the second part. So, yeah, we're gonna pick up where we left off when we were talking about understanding your design, understanding your function, and understanding the value of that being the conduit for the favor. And when you know that, you have a different posture. So, Grace Inspired says, when my hubby and I met, I made 75K and he made 114K, and I paid zero and still pay zero.
Yes.
Now we have kids and I'm a stay-at-home mom. He is the sole provider just like my dad was. Femininity is power.
Okay.
Okay? My money is the play money. Um, then she comes back and she says, when I was in the workplace, my femininity made me a favorite, opened doors, and disarmed any haters. Come on. By the time I left work, was making 100K because people advocated for me and gave me opportunities. Y'all, Grace is preaching to you in the comment section.
She's sharing her testimony.
You know what I'm saying? So Caribbean Curls brings up a good question. So you don't believe in ladies being equal to men? That's not what we said. Men or women are equal in value. We different in function. We differ in function. Patricia, you care to elaborate? We are equal in value.
And what we're doing is measuring our quality by our function, and that's where we are messing up. And that's the point. That's the point because we're saying if we do what they do, that makes us equal. And the truth of the matter is that's not true anymore. Should I don't want to exhaust the spider. Am I the only one that doesn't like spiders? I'm sorry.
I mean, it's kind of like, if we're being honest, but here's the thing I'm saying is, in her heart of hearts, if she had her choice between them paying half and half, her taking care of him, or him taking care of everything, not because you're not capable, not because you're not smart, not because you're not intelligent, but because you just don't have to, because they find joy in providing, we don't. If you had your choice, I think a lot of women, most women would be like, girl, if I had my choice, girl, no, I wouldn't put that responsibility on myself, I would put it on him. I think part of this cry for equal in function is that there is a level of distrust towards men, that I think a lot of women are concerned, like, I don't want him to have that much power over me. I don't want him to have that much control of me. It's like, well, but it's not, because you got the influential power, right? And so if you understand that men by design are givers, and they a healthy man, and they find joy in giving. They find joy in providing. They find joy in protecting, right? In covering you, in leading you, and trying to make your life easier. That they find, if you knew that they found joy in that, you wouldn't view it as control. You let him do those things, actually makes his day. Yes, it makes your day, but it actually makes his day. It makes his life. So when men say, I need to feel needed, this is not about ego. This is not about desperation. This is not about unhealthy. They need to know, where do I fit? What's my role? Because my natural disposition is to provide for you. If you don't want me to provide for you, okay, then my natural disposition is to protect you. If you don't want me to protect you, well, my natural disposition is to lead you. Well, you want me to lead you. If, like, then they're like, well, where do I fit? And so what I'm saying is, equal in function, I mean, equal in value, we're equally as valuable. We need each other. We were designed to need each other. A lot of people are like, I don't need a man to do that. I don't need, no, 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 no. We need them just like they need us. Let's just put that out there. So let's get that. I don't need them. We were designed to need each other. And so when you do not understand that your disposition is not to be the provider, your disposition is not to be the protector, your disposition is not to be the leader, right? If you don't understand that about your design and know what your functions are, then you will be fighting them for their function. Patricia?
Hmm. Yeah, and let me tell you, we were in the God literally makes no mistakes. We were perfectly designed in the image of God. Both and how we work together is who God is in his perfection. And so the more we try to play man, the more we're stepping out of God's image when it comes to the unit. We as women really need to step into our own power and not seeing it as less than. and not allowing the world, not to preach you, whatever, but allowing the world to define what it means to be a woman. Like, it's an amazing thing. One thing that was like kind of so powerful for me that I learned not too long ago. You know, everybody talks about the Proverbs 31 woman, and how I've heard so many different angles of it. But one thing that was pretty empowering for me to hear is that the psalm was originally written from mother to son. This is the type of woman that you should seek after. And I thought that was so powerful in a way that this was the standard from woman to woman and not man observing a woman, if that makes sense. There is so much um, power, resourcefulness, um, influence, and beauty and grace that we have and that we're able to offer this world. And we don't understand that if we fully stand in that, just like Grace said, we can be winning at home, we can be winning at work. You know what I mean? Instead of fighting for what the man is doing.
Hmm.
Talked about this in different lives before, flowing in and working with who you are naturally. We've talked about it in terms of how you spend your money, you know, what you prioritize and different things like that, but also just who you are as a woman, leaning into your natural abilities, leaning into your natural nature and having those things work for you.
Naomi, I think, is it Naomi? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Has a great question. She said, "I'm excited to learn from both of you ladies. I first saw your 'I'm not a low maintenance woman' and it spoke to me. Listen, that video, y'all, like, I'm just gonna say it's a good video. If you haven't seen that little video I did a little while ago about why I'm not a low maintenance woman and never will be here." She said, what are some examples that you can do to raise your value? Okay, Naomi. I think this, I don't know if this is your first live stream with us, but maybe this is your first time commenting. So I will say this. I have a tendency when I read the questions to kind of dissect them a little bit. And sometimes I work the questions backwards. So I hope that's okay with you. But the first thing I see is on how to raise your value. And I think this is kind of what we're talking about. Your design as a woman is already high value. Now, to take it out of like the clouds and kind of bring it, what you're probably saying is, how do I cultivate that value? How do I present that value? How do I make my own self aware of that value? I think that might be how well, let me see, that's how I'm choosing to read it. That's how I'm choosing to respond. It's Noemi. Oh, no, Noemi. Lord, I'm about to butcher that. Patricia, you're gonna have to help me. Um, so here's the thing. Your value is in your design. So I would say to raise your value is to understand your design as a woman and then embrace those things about yourself, cultivate those things about yourself, lean into those things about yourself. So for example, women, we're really good about the experience of a thing, right? Whether it's the experience of being in a relationship, whether it's the experience of being at home with your family, whether it's the experience of interacting with someone, right? This is just one little aspect, right? We know how to kind of create the environment, the mood, the tone, the feel of a thing, right? And so, knowing that one aspect of being a woman, you can lean into that and know that that is valuable to other people, right? In a myriad of ways. So whether it's in relationships, whether it's at work, whether it's with your family, whether it's with yourself, whether it's in your home, right? You know, you've ever walked in somebody's house and you be like, oh, it just feels so good in here, or it just feels so relaxing in here. The majority of the time, the woman of the home has set that energy, not just in the decor, not just in the design, but in the kind of people she lets in her house, what the
Mhm.
rules are in her house, who can come, who can't, how you gonna function in her house, How you gonna talk to her? How you gonna talk to her spouse? How you gonna talk to her children? What you allow, what you don't allow, right? Friends, family, or the like, right? So if you know that about yourself and you know that you have the power to influence environments just by being you, then you're like, oh, I can walk into any room and affect the mood
Hmm.
anytime I want. And but when you know that, you're also very careful about that. So it's kind of like if I know I'm in a funk, I know that because I'm a woman and one of our I like to call it superpowers is being influential. I know if I'm a funk and I walk into a room with the funk, I'm going to shift the energy to
Hmm.
funkiness, right? But I also know that if I'm having an amazing day and I walk into a room that's dark, I already know when I walk in, my presence is going to command, here we go, not demand, will command the energy in the room to shift. Um, so to answer your question, how do you raise your value? I think it's getting clear on what all the things about being a woman and being feminine and what they are, and leaning into them and cultivating them, and not trying to. It's like I don't covet men's value. They have the men have some great value. We need the value that they bring. That's why I need it. I don't want to become it now.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let Patricia for some response. I do not want to send the message that women don't have masculinity in them. We both have both, but we were designed to lean heavier in one direction. So men are very tangible, like get stuff done, right? Yes, you have the ability to get stuff done, okay, to do list, productive, whatever. We need that skill for when they're not around for other areas, right? But that's not our prevailing skill set, right? But you've seen a woman like that who's like a taskmaster, and she can never be in the moment and just enjoy the ambiance or the atmosphere. Nobody, we don't really like her. Okay, Patricia, because I will be long winded.
She said, "All of what you said rings true." Thank you, Evelyn. Took plenty of notes. No, I mean, I completely agree with you, in that, bef- you have to. It has to start with understanding your value. That's like step number one in the process. And then once you get there, you can cultivate. You can understand that women are part of the experience, and then know what it means to, or how to set an atmosphere, set the tone. I think, was it you were talking to me about the commercial about no, I don't have to smile.
Yes, yes.
That is literally taking one of our most powerful tools in our toolbox, is the smile of a woman, affection of a woman. And that is dangerous. I'll let Evelyn explain to you what the commercial is about. But that is dangerous. This is just crazy. I really feel like this agenda is just so harmful, to be honest with you. And I think we as Black women really get the worst of it, and it really doesn't serve us. And I think we out of everyone suffer more when it comes to our femininity because of the lack of, I think, masculinity or that energy from a man that exists in a lot of our lives. That's beside the point. Understanding what it means to set an atmosphere, and how do you do that? How do you walk in a room and command a room? How do you set an environment by igniting all the senses? How do you present yourself? How do you set up your life? That is done in a very intentional way. You know what I mean? Like when you're planning a party, there are things that only women think about. Like even my husband, when we were planning the wedding, he's just, I just would have never thought. I just would have never thought about that. I just would have never, you know what I mean? He just wouldn't think about that. But in planning, I'm like, babe, I want to have this whole experience. I want us to have a whole day at the place. Like, I want to be able to be relaxed when I get there. I don't want to have to get ready at a different place. I don't. I'm already thinking about the experience of the day, not just the flowers, the food, the decor, and all that is part of it too. But so at the end of the day, he can say, I mean, he played football outside with his groomsmen in the morning, And he's just like, just the day was so fun. You know what I'm saying? Because you purposely, intentionally create that type of experience. And as women, we're just good at that. You know, leaning into doing that, even in the workplace. You know, one thing I used to do, people love sweets. I used to come dumb early to work at one of my jobs, sometimes an hour early. I would stop at Dunkin' Donuts and bring donuts and just pass them out. Like, hey guys, how was your night? This is when I was still working on the floor as a nurse. Hey guys, how was your night? Blah blah blah. They've worked all night. They're tired. I already knew at that time I was on day shift. I know what it meant to work nights.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but it flipped the script. Like people were like, the people got excited when I used to come in. Like in the mornings, I would forget to bring donuts. They're like, where the donuts at? Like, how you gonna go early without donuts?
Do that.
It became an expectation, and that was the job that I was promoted to manager in. And so, you know, these are things that we can naturally do and lean into instead of overworking and overdoing this in this area. Lean into the things that you're good at and that you naturally and that women exude, you know, to get the things and get to the places where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the word flow probably has been overused, right? But there is um and shout out to Yaya for this. I always like to give credit where credit is due. I tell you, I'm a femininity student, not a femininity expert. But when you decide to reside in your femininity, it gives you an ease about certain things, right? It's a way of moving through life. You can decide to be a masculine woman and move through life that way. And there are women who have chosen that route. It has detrimental effects, literally, emotionally, but also physically. Like we're not even gonna get into the metaphysical of like when you what starts happening to your body when you start functioning outside of your design. Okay. Um, which was like let me sip the tea on that, right? I'm not even gonna get into like fibroids and menstrual cramps and that's a whole other conversation. Okay, but I think and knowing, I think sometimes we have only placed the valuable on the tangible things. Did I do these three things on the to-do list? To use Patricia's example, the goal of a wedding is to get married. So most men are like, did we get married? Check. We went to the altar, the people were here, we got the marriage license, check. The woman is like, how are you going to remember this day as we live our life out? How am I going to remember this day? How are we going to tell the story to our children? What will the guest experience when they're here celebrating with us, right? How will we look back on this day? And I think a lot of times we think that that part is not equally as valuable as the end result. And this is where I say they are equally valuable, different in function. Getting to the altar, getting married, getting the stuff signed is equally as important as how we got there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of like, let's take it completely out of relation. It's like travel. You could get on a train and travel cross country. You could drive cross country. You could take Spirit Airlines cross country, or you could fly first class with a private sleeping cabin first country across country, right? All of them will satisfy the task, the masculine, the linear. What's the goal? Get across country, right? How you choose to get across country, and what kind of comfort, what kind of experience do you want to have? What kind of ease do you want? That's the femininity. Am I making sense, Patricia?
Yeah, totally.
G Angel says that is so difficult because I feel like society wants us to suppress our femininity. I literally have to deconstruct a lot of my thinking and habits. Let me tell you, you're absolutely right. So, but let me tell you, it's twofold. They absolutely want us to suppress our femininity in the same way that they want men to suppress their masculinity. Let's be clear. I'm gonna pause right there because I've been talking. I'm gonna let Patricia hop in on that one because that's a whole nother live stream. Okay,
Keep going. Keep it going.
y'all listen. Let me tell you the quickest way to destroy a community. Ooh Lord, okay, here we go. The quickest way to destroy a community is to break down the basis of the family unit. What's the basis of the family unit? The man and the woman, the husband and the wife. The husband and the wife is the basis of the family. The family is the basis of the community. The community is the basis of a nation. If you can wreck the man and the woman and get them out of alignment, the family will naturally destroy itself. The society will self destruct and the nation will destruct.
Woo wee.
Oh, y'all, see, y'all, this is bigger than candles and bubble baths. And did you get your nails done?
Ah,
Because if I can make the women function like men and try to and spend all their energy fighting for men's strengths and ignoring their own and exhausting themselves, wearing themselves out, making men their enemy versus their ally. Okay, if I can spend time doing it, I ain't even got to worry about breaking up the families and divorces. Y'all not even gonna get married. If y'all do get married, I can just get y'all to get divorced. Then I can get the kids to be messed up. Now we're gonna mess up for 4 generations. We're one of the few cultures where, like, when's the last time you heard somebody say strong blank woman? Fill in the blank with whatever ethnicity you want. You probably have never heard the phrase. But the strong black woman syndrome, here's the thing, it's not that we're not strong, but femininity is powerful. Femininity is strength, but it's softness and strength.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do I think it's an agenda? Nobody asked me that, but I'm asking myself so I can answer it. Yes. Was y'all ready for this today or no? Y'all quiet in the chat. Patricia, you want to respond to this comment right here?
Listen, we could talk all day about the many agendas that are out there working together um, against our community. And this one here is one of the bigger ones because, like you said, it's where everything starts. You can get it at the beginning, at the core, then you can dismantle it all, and that's really just it. Um, wow, sorry, that was powerful because it's just so true. It's not just us. It's not just us. The men as well, not understanding because, girl, dad is gone, mom is raising the boys. Mom is not able to do, frankly, what dad can do. Dad being gone, the woman leaning into a lot of what she knows, and that is nurturing
Mm-hmm.
without discipline,
Mm-hmm.
without decision making,
Mm-hmm.
without allowing him to exercise leadership,
Mm-hmm.
true leadership. And so he leaves home not knowing how to do these things
Mm-hmm.
because of how we have been affected as when we already don't trust men because they leave. That's just what they abandon us. And so we already mistrust them. And we're confronted with a man who doesn't know how to lead, who doesn't know how to move through life without mom,
Mm-hmm.
and slips up and messes up. And because he's been coddled, he's learned to be selfish. And we don't trust him. And it's just this like crazy cycle.
Girl, but you can flip it because I have been and have seen the women who met a man who was well fathered and is a good leader, but the woman has not seen a man function in that way. So when she sees him in his leadership, it's you
Mm-hmm.
want to control me. When she
Mm-hmm.
sees him in his provision, why I got it right. And so then the woman being in her masculinity, because she had because if she was without a father, she saw her mother being in her masculinity because the mother didn't have the support of the masculine, so she didn't even have time to embrace her feminine because she was too busy being the provider and the protector because she was alone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So now, let's say you meet a man who is the opposite. So you have who had the opposite experience, and he's trying to lead, and he's trying to be the thing, whatever, and he's confused because he's like, I don't understand why you're not responding to this. You've never seen submission, so you think submission is a bad word. Okay,
Ooh.
right? And you think it's control, and you think it's, oh, they want me to be their property, whatever, because that's what the world has told you submission is. And all submission really means is submission, to come under the mission. If he's a leader, he has a mission. How can two walk together unless they agree? So that means he got a mission, which means he's going somewhere. Submission means you decided you want to go to the same place, and you're going to work together to do that. And
Mhm.
submission is to your benefit. Okay, but if you have never seen that and it's foreign to you, now it feels like, why are you talking to me like that? Why are you this, whatever? And he's just being a man. I'm gonna give y'all an example. I remember one time I was volunteering at church, and they had like the kids like in a youth building, and it was time for the kids to eat, but they were running out of lunches, right? So one of the men who was volunteer came over, because if you understand that healthy men are problem solvers, not problem bringers, problem solvers. They may not solve it the way you solve it, but one of their best skill sets is they're problem solvers, right? They're going to get it done. Okay. So he comes over in a room full of women who just cat, and it's like, hey, I need you to do this. Can you do this? Da 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 da. And there was no please and thank you and whatever. And guess what happened? The woman caught an attitude like, who you talking to? And I was like, y'all don't see what's happening. He sees a problem, an immediate problem with the children, aka they're hungry. His masculinity to lead and provide just kicked in. He is not a nurturer by nature. So he's not gonna hit you with a, hey ladies, could you please, if you don't mind. He is trying to solve a problem. So now these women who don't understand, or the women who didn't understand masculinity, thought that this man was snapping on them and trying to tell them what to do and whatever. What I saw was a man who at that moment was like, the kids are hungry, because it's particularly our men, black men, have hearts of gold. He's like, the kids are hungry. It's time. Y'all are standing around. As a man, I'm going to step up and take charge, because that's what they do, and solve the problem. And but the problem was the women couldn't recognize the masculinity. I immediately peeped what was happening. But if you've never lived under that, if you've never experienced that, if you have not studied that, you're going to take offense versus going, oh, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing in the moment. Let me fall in line. What do you need? Hey, can you do this? Okay, great. I got you. When the situation was over, problem solved. He back to, hey, you know what's going on. In that moment, though, his masculinity was elevated. So,
I think we got some comments in here.
okay. So, um, girl, listen, if I butcher your name, I just want to apologize. I am so sorry. So I'm just going to read the comment. Feminine is an energy, right? Yes. Not just nails and face masks. Absolutely. I'm still learning, but I've since had a huge shift in the way both men and women treat me, like I'm delicate and respected.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say one thing, Patricia, but I want you to respond to this. 'Cause I've been talking a lot. I think also women think that femininity is exclusive for masculinity or for men, but femininity works on women. You don't have healthy female friendships until you have femininity.
Hmm.
Okay, that's all I got.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about this word, delicate, that Noemi Henriquez, that's my best shot at that, um, brought up. There's certain words that have been made bad words. What there was one that you brought up earlier. What was it again?
Um, I think it said soft and strong. What did I say? Girl, I don't know.
What was a word that you brought up that's often submission,
Submission.
bad vulnerability, bad word. Delicate, I've also found for people to perceive that to be a bad word. And when you think about like a package that has fragile written on it. If you think about a box that has fragile written on it and one that doesn't, which one is treated better? You know what I'm saying? the one that is fragile, the one that is delicate. And I don't understand how we've made these things, like we've allowed society to tell us that these things are bad. The fact that one that I struggled with personally was, I am naturally a sensitive, emotional person. When I say sensitive, I don't mean I'm sensitive to other people's emotions. I'm sensitive to just just for people in general. Not necessarily that I'm easily offended, but I'm just sensitive. I can be emotional, but not in the like I'm a go off sense, but just I'm an emotional person. And so I tried for so long to suppress that. I'm naturally nurturing. I'm naturally was the friend that was giving the advice. You know, naturally the one that people would come to. Like just naturally, that's who I am. But I was so um, determined to function in my masculinity that I couldn't show emotion. I couldn't, I couldn't be vulnerable. I couldn't let people see. And I think that's layered, but my sensitivity or my emotions, because those things were considered weak. But these days, I understand that my tears don't compromise my strength. My tears don't equal that I'm weak. And so now, girl, I'll cry a drop of a hat.
Girl.
Before though, you couldn't get me to cry for nobody's business. And when I did, I was literally disappointed in myself. And I think that is just the poor messaging again, strong black woman being able to tolerate, being able to withstand
Or
of all sorts of work, abuse, struggle, all these things that we just absolutely have to carry, and almost like a badge of honor that, oh, I didn't even shed a tear, type of thing. Like that's something to boast about. Um, all of these, that was like my biggest struggle when it came to my own femininity and understanding the different myths that society was trying to feed me, you know, and that feminine doesn't equal weak. Feminine doesn't equal less than. Feminine doesn't make me a second class citizen, but quite the contrary. You know what I mean? And so I think we have to, like someone was mentioning, reframe our minds and change our thinking, and stop really subscribing to these thoughts and ideas that are being given to us, and take a step back and see what's really happening here. Take a step back to evaluate who you truly are and where in your life could you not be functioning in your femininity, and look at and see how that's serving you or not serving you.
I was just saying the same thing. Like I remember, y'all don't know this, but I think I did a video about this, about the joy of unfollowing. But Patricia knows I will unfollow with quickness. Like it doesn't matter. It's not even personal. You put one post up that is contrary to how I want to experience the world, it's my feed. I can unfollow. And I remember just following these different pages for different, whether it's business or this or whatever, anything that was like hustle and grind, unfollowed. Look up the words, okay? Girl, you don't want no part of hustle and you don't want no part of grind. Read it. And I remember thinking, like Patricia said, is this thought serving me? Right? Whether it came to men, or whether it came to circumstances. Like, let me tell you the narrative that I'm really over right now. And y'all may all unsubscribe from me right now, but from what I'm about to say. This narrative of we're so unprotected. If that is what you want to experience, keep speaking that. But but whatever you look for, you're gonna find something to justify that. Okay. Uh, but I was
Here's the thing, Evelyn. I'm sorry to cut you off. I have to put this here too. But that's what we wanted, right? That's what they wanted.
That's what they wanted.
You can't be worried about protection right now when you were so busy functioning in a world that wasn't for you.
Right. Because you didn't want the protection because you thought it was control.
You thought it was control.
And now you screaming, I'm not protected. Well, which one do you want, sis? You know what I'm saying? Which one do you want? Do you want to be protected? Protect comes submission. You have to come under the covering. Let me give an example. I had a friend who told me, she said when she married her husband, she was getting ready to go like to a popular street in their town, right? And hang with some girlfriends. And he was like, your dress is a little short. And they were early in their marriage, so she was like, "Oh, so you can tell me how to dress? Oh, so that's what we doing? Oh, so you trying to control me?" And he was like, "Pump your brakes, calm down. You're like 5 foot. You going to this busy street. If somebody touch you wrong, I'm gonna have to go to jail to kill them for touching you wrong. Then where are our children gonna be?" It was protect. That's not control. That's protection. You popping off at the mouth, right? You popping off at the mouth, and your homeboy is like, "Hey, calm down. Is he trying to control you or is he trying to protect you?" No, calm down, because if the police come over here, they gonna look at me like it's a threat, and then I won't be able here to protect you. Right? Men think like this, and here's the thing: they're not gonna give you this step by step detail on how they got to that thought. But you get to choose how you want to view that. If you want to view it as, I don't have to submit to you, I got my own mind, and you just trying to control me, and this is just your male fragile ego, and you popping, then this is what I mean by I say you got what you want, but you got what you wanted, but you don't want what you got. So they were like, "Okay, you don't like our type of protection, so that's what you got. Now you're
Mm-hmm.
screaming I'm unprotected." Well, sis, when they were trying to protect you, you didn't want it. You can't have it both ways, right? And I will say this from my experience, because I don't speak that. Let me tell you, I have men protecting me all the time, and this don't even have to be a romantic partner. Let me tell you, when I got diagnosed with cancer, my homeboy from college called me up and was like, "I know you're having a tough time. I'm going to pay." This is like a brother who used to date a friend of mine, so it wasn't even like that, for you to go on vacation, because I know you. Because I didn't ask, commanding, not demanding, commanding, because I know this is a tough time. I got a homeboy right now. Come by every 2 weeks. You got masks? You got Lysol wipes? Oh, I'm good. Now I'm gonna drop him off on the porch anyway. Great. I allow myself to receive that. He's protecting me, even without me asking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's because I view them as protectors, and when they want to protect me, I allow them to. And sometimes it don't feel good, because sometimes they're gonna check you a little bit. But that's not out of control, that's out of love.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to want to see it that way. And here's the thing, this is not just me. I got multiple friends. I remember, y'all, let's get real personal. Men will protect you to their own hurt. The day my dad died, another homeboy got the news while he was driving in the car. According to my homegirl, turned around in the middle of the highway to come get me, carried me, like picked me up. I'm a fully grown woman, picked me up, carried me, put me in his car, and drove me to my mother's house. This was just a homeboy. Y'all, like, they love us, but if you view it as control, if you view it as they got a fragile ego, then that's what you gonna get. Anyway, okay. Patricia, your thoughts. I think we got some more comments.
No, I agree. I agree um, that many of us aren't able to receive that protection, that covering. We don't know what it looks like, and we don't trust it. We just don't. I think I was telling Evelyn this the other day, or was it last night? I can't remember.
We
Uh, and I was telling her, I wasn't feeling too well. And, as a nurse, a lot of times when we get sick, or we're not feeling well, we'll heal ourselves, we'll do all the things in order to help us. And, my husband straight up threatened me, like literally threatened me. Look, if this is the last time, if you don't XYZ, We going to urgent care
And that's
tomorrow.
just what it is.
And it is what it is. And I knew he was serious, and I was like, all right, you gonna fall in line.
All in line.
We need to do. I trusted. I trust him.
Mhm.
And I know that that is done in love and for my good. Not to control me, not to tell me what to do or to take my autonomy away. It's done in love. Another story that's personal to my parents. You know, my parents first came to this country. Their whole story, really from the beginning of it, is and what it's interesting is when you meet my parents, people will think that my mother has the dominant personality. In many ways, she does, but they don't understand my father's leadership style. And so when they first came to this country, they were like, okay, we're going to make something out of ourselves. We essentially have to start over. And this is what it is. And so my mom had a certain goal, and my dad was like, while that's cute, I really think you should go this direction.
Mhm.
I think it'll be good for you. And she was like, no, I want to do this because it's cute and I really like this. And it's comfortable because it was very similar to what she was doing in Haiti. And he was like, mm-mm, I think you can go this way. And she was like, I'm not too sure I could do that. And he was like, I'll help you. And within what, a few years or less than 5 years of being in the country, they owned a home. And then it just domino effect from there of, okay, I'm going to submit to my husband. He has a vision, he has a direction. I may not understand it, I may not get it right now, but she'll tell you now 10 times over, listen, I will choose my husband over and over and over again. The reason why she's in this country is because of my dad. And he said when he got the call that he was coming here, he's like, I'm not leaving without my wife. I'm not about to do overseas gigolo. I'm not doing it. I'm not leaving without my wife. From the beginning to today, you understand what I'm saying? But had she been so worried about what she was trying to do, and I don't trust the direction that you're leading me in, she would have missed out on everything. Literally everything. And so, ladies, we got to understand that in a good environment with a good man, though it might be hard, you gotta be able to, let your guard down a little bit and trust his leading.
Mhm.
I'm not saying to submit to,
Every man.
every foolishness or everyone. Not everyone is worthy of that, of your submission. Not everyone. But after he has proven himself, you got to do it.
Here's the, but it's to our benefit. I think the missing element of it is submission has been taught, that is the really uncomfortable, really painful, self-sacrificing, you don't ever get what you want thing. And it's like, in various situations where I've had to submit. And here's the thing, and girl, if you haven't submitted to God, trying to submit to a human is about to be a challenge for you, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Mhm.
Um, I've always seen it work out for my good. Now, it may not have looked like what I thought it was going to look like, but I'd be like, I wouldn't have thought of that. Oh, I didn't know you was going to do it like that. Oh, you played that good. Let me give an example. You know, I like stories. My pastor and his wife, they tell this story all the time, so I feel like I can tell the story. When they first got married, she was making way more money than him. Way more money. My pastor is Jamaican. My pastor's wife is African American. Okay, so they were over here. She was making way more money than him, right? But he was in love, whatever. So they got married, and he was like, "Hey, listen, we're gonna live off of my salary." She was like, "No, I'm used to a certain standard of living. We make enough. No, let me show you the good life." And he was like, "No, we're gonna live off of my salary. We'll save your money, or you can do whatever. We're gonna live off of my salary." 6 months later, she was laid off. Now she didn't know that. I mean, they're telling the story in hindsight, right? And she was like, and life didn't change because she had, you know, she kicked and screamed a little bit, but she was like, let me, you know, okay, go ahead. And she was like, at the moment, she was like, oh, he might be kind of smart. He might little know something. She was like, and they were fine and were able to keep going because they were not house poor because they were living off of his salary, okay, and they had saved a significant portion of her income. I mean, but you could put this in different things. You could put it in health. You could put it in finances. You could put it in this. Wherever that man strong suit is, lean into that, right? Caribbean Curls, even though I know she said she had to log off, had a question, so I want to make sure we answer this. She said, "Oh, thanks for explaining submission. I may leave shortly as it's after 11 p.m. here, and I'm up early, but will catch the replay. Please post some great tips." Wait, no, her question was here it is. Can we trust men to lead? I know it's their role, but if they didn't see a good example, uh, can we trust that they'll be capable? Patricia, would you like to go first?
First of all, they are capable. It's part of who they are, and unfortunately, they haven't been able to exercise that muscle. And I'm gonna be very practical in this. Um, well, I feel like I have so much to say. I want to be very practical in this, in that he will never learn if he's not able to exercise. And so that's going to require some letting go and allowing him to do what he was designed to do. Another point that I want to make, though, and I guess sort of what that looks like, because I was having a conversation with a couple. Well, my husband and I were having a conversation with a couple about this. And, practical ways was, allowing him to plan trips, without like your leading or encourage, just let him like let him do it, allowing him to do certain things and to make decisions, and being able to say, babe, you know what, you got this one, and allowing him to do that. You know what I'm saying? And but the other thought is, I what I don't want us to sort of walk away from this is thinking that somehow leading doesn't always have to be blind, and following doesn't always have to be blind. And if you have a good man, he understands you. He knows what you want. My husband knows when I'm traveling. He's like, she ain't gonna go for that. Like, she's just not the. I'm gonna save $50 for this flight, and then my knees are gonna be to my chest the whole time. To no, there's a certain level of experience and a certain level of just atmosphere she's gonna want in her travel, and he understands. she and he understands that about me. So when he's making decisions, there's that's where I exist.
Mhm.
He's making those decisions with me in mind. And so and even so, if they're bigger decisions, he's not going to want to, especially no good man is going to want to do that without you. How do you feel? What do you think? They will be incapable really of making the best decision, and they know that without your input. And they will always turn to you for that. And they rather, in most cases, unless there's another leading by God, put whatever your desires are above their own. And as women, I've learned sometimes to be very wise with that kind of influence. Because sometimes I understand my desires may not be in line with the overall mission. And so I won't speak them. I won't speak them so that the mission's able to be accomplished. Because I understand that the moment I say this, my husband's going to think this and we're going to go the other way. When I tell you guys, if we really understood the amount of influence and power that we do have, we would be so wise with it. We would be so wise with it, and we would cherish that thing, um, because we're really. I'm telling you,
Trying to tell them.
it's in, it's in your hands, and so learning to trust, learning to trust God, and this is if you're in a situation where this is your husband. Um, You have to trust him, period. And it's not one of those situations where it has to be earned. It really just has to be given. Under the sanctity of marriage, he is your husband. And so you trust him. You trust that at the very least he has your best interest, your interest at heart, and has the best intentions for you and your family. And allow him, for those who have not had that experience before, or has able to, um, who haven't been able to exercise that muscle, and you'll see it. They'll pick up that thing so quick because it's who they are. I am when I tell you, I've had a little bit of that struggle in my own personal life with my husband, in that, um, in his other, he hadn't been able to exercise the leadership muscle in its fullest capacity outside of ministry. And so, in I had to, this is all you got it. And he's like, me? Yeah, you. Go ahead. Good. What do you, and he picked it up so quick. He picked it up so quick. It's not, it's who they are. Let them do what they're made to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it's like a baby picking up swimming, right? We see those videos of people tossing babies in the water and then they swim because they were designed. Like, how does a baby know how to nurse? They were designed to know how to do it, right? So once you put them in the environment, they latch on for the most part. Okay, I have a perfect, not a perfect, but I have an example that I think if you guys have seen this TV show, you can relate to it. One of my favorite TV shows of all time is A Different World. I love A Different World. Okay, grew up on A Different World, went to HBCU. Shout out, shout out. Okay, anyway, there's an episode on A Different World, and it's Whitley's birthday, and I think her and Dwayne are married at this point, right? And Whitley was used to a certain standard of living, came from a certain family, came from a certain background that Dwayne did not. And in this particular episode, she doesn't think that Dwayne is going to give her the kind of birthday that she wants. So what she does is she decides to plan her own birthday surprise. And so she goes around to her friends and whatever and is trying to plan for him for her. I don't know if y'all remember this episode. And so he gets wind of it and he cancels everything that he had planned for her. And he takes her to like a little chicken shack place. She's upset, angry, disappointed. Like, she done bought this expensive dress and got dressed up because he didn't give her the kind of birthday experience that she wanted, right? Even though this is her husband and he knows her very well. But he ended up doing it to prove a point, and he ended up planning something else that she didn't get wind of at the end. But there's a scene in there where he was like, "You got a control problem." Like he says, "Why didn't you trust me to do this for you?" Like he married. I mean, and these are fictional characters, obviously, but he married her. He's like, "I'm your like. I know you. I
Mm-hmm.
know what you like. I know what you want. I know the standard that you're accustomed to." And men will do their best to get you that. But the problem is we don't give them space to fail as if they're not human, right? And I think that whether it is a counterpart on the job who is really passionate and they probably have the skill set, and giving them a bit of room to take point on this, whether it's a spouse, whether it is a father, a brother, a cousin, right? To, like Patricia said, they were designed to lead. They were designed to be problem solvers. But if you keep cutting them off at the knees, you will never see that. And then you be wondering, like, well, I don't see that you a leader, since you ain't never gave brother no room to be the leader. Um, and so you know what I mean. And I will say this: I'm not telling you out here to be just submitting to any old body, right? That's some old husband type privileges. You submit to your dad, you submit to God, you submit to a boss or whatever, right? But also, you have to have a level. Oh, BB said this of discernment. Like, look at the fruit of his own life. You know what I'm saying? How does he lead himself? And and who is he? submitted to.
That's a big one right there.
There's a scripture that said that where the man is like, I'm a man of authority under authority, right? And he's talking to Jesus, and he was like, listen, as I'm a man that has authority, but I'm under authority. So I understand how authority works. And you can pause right there before you even get to the rest of the story, because the rest of the story is a whole nother message. But meaning that a man who is under authority and has submitted under authority will not abuse his own authority,
Hmm.
right? Because he knows what it's like to be under authority. So whether
Hmm.
that's under his father, whether that's under a mentor, whether that's under an uncle, a boss, he definitely needs to be submitted to God. He understands like that as a man, he does have positional authority, just like we have influential authority, right? But if he is submitted under an authority, then he knows how not to abuse that authority, right?
Hmm.
Just like us with influence, feminine influence gone astray, some people would call it witchcraft.
Hmm.
So, see who he's under authority and see how he handles it, but give him some space. And then this is off the question, but I want to circle back to something that we talked about earlier, right? Um, and we were talking about knowing your value. And Patricia, you said something, and I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. But we had some more questions, right? Um, and you said, like that advice we can give and to a man, that's part of that influence that we have. For my believers that are watching or watching the replay, girl, if you read your Bible, you will realize that all throughout the Bible, when the Bible talks about wisdom, it refers to it as a she and a her,
Hmm.
right? Just a little something to peep. A she and a her. And our wisdom is that discernment. Call it the feeling in your gut, call it intuition, call it what you want. It's not that men don't have it. It's just sometimes we see stuff that they don't see. Now, sometimes they're looking through a lens that we can't see, right?
Hmm.
Because that's their time. But we know, like, we smell something ain't right. I don't know what it is. I can't prove what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have any evidence. And if he's a smart man, he's going to yield to that strength in you.
Hmm.
Be like, you know what? My girl, my wife, my sis, my mom, they be just having that feeling. And I've learned. I got a homeboy. He told me right now. He's married. And he said when they first got married, his wife was just like, I don't really like this person. You know what I'm saying? She a little off. And he was like, oh no, whatever, da 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 da. Come to find out. Okay. Now nothing never happened. He never was in a compromised situation, but come to find out the woman did have, inappropriate feelings for a married man. And he was like, it was at that moment that he was like, oh, I always trust my wife's intuition, her discernment. Because he was like, she didn't trip. She was just like, I'm cool with this one, but that one I'm not really feeling. And I can't quite put my finger on it. And so, you know how valuable that is in life? To be able to be like, I know you leading me here. Hey, but hey, I see this. So, and this is about coming under the mission, right? And this is what you're saying. It's not about blind following. So, if he is like, we going downtown, wherever your downtown is, right, and you get on the highway, and you're like, I think we should take the side streets. I don't know why I think we should take the side streets, but I should take the side streets. Y'all not going in two different directions. He's still like, we going downtown, and you're like, I got this little information. I think we should take the side streets. Y'all still going in the same direction. He take the side street, coming to find out it's an oil spill on the highway and 18 wheelers turned over.
Hmm.
So he driving, but you got that wisdom, you got that discernment, you got that intuition, right? So that's how the two work together beautifully, right? But I just wanted to bring that up about like all throughout the scripture it refers to wisdom as a she and a her. um yeah, just
And they will learn to value it. They will look to it. They will listen for it.
leverage it.
They will look. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. In the beginning, especially in my own marriage, there were I sometimes would withhold it for the I don't want to tell you what to do. That's my whole thing. That was my thing. Even with my friends, it's like I don't want to tell you what to do. So I might withhold what I truly see is going on. Um, but what I realized that in my marriage, if I love my husband, I want the best for him. I need to give him everything that God has given me. You know what I mean? And so cut there. But I'll give an example of where this happened recently. A few weeks ago, my husband spoke for a particular event, virtual event, and I was on the line, and he just got all of like this positive. What happened?
I don't know how to add both of us back on the screen.
Oh, do you see the little plus sign?
It's both minus signs.
You said they're both minus signs.
Yeah, what did I do?
Do you see on the bottom where there's like the two screens next to each other? There should be a plus. Oh, so add a plus sign to both. Like click the minus sign.
There we go.
Okay.
I switched the sides, but we're back. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean you was on a good thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So my husband was speaking at a virtual event, and I was on the line, and he got a lot of positive response, and he was very happy with it. But there was something that I saw, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to invite you back. This, that." And as soon as he got off the call, I told him, I was like, first of all, that was great, whatever, but be careful the next time you go to speak. And he was like, why do you think that? Whatever, what do you think that? So the leadership of the people that were putting, from the organization that was putting the event on, before he came back for part two, basically had a conversation with him about some of the things that he had said in that first session. And he was so grateful after getting off that call that he wasn't blindsided and that he was prepared for that. And then when he got on the line for part two, I was also on the call, and I literally was texting him, all right, cut that thought there. All right, in there.
Mm-hmm.
Keep moving there.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we were done, the leadership called him back and was like, oh my goodness, we're so sorry. We thought that it was one way, but wasn't the other. It's so awesome. We love you. We can't wait to bring you back, whatever. And he got off the call. He pulled me aside. He was just like, babe, you're like the greatest gem to my life. Like, how would I have been able to navigate that without you? I do not know. Like, and so they will learn to trust and value it, just like you will learn to trust and value their leadership, and it will work together. And I know if you've been in a situation you've never seen it, and it sounds like fairy tales and roses and meadows, like it's very very real. It is very very real. I promise you. I've seen it. I've seen it. I live it. It's real.
I love it. I love it. Let's see. Do we have any? I don't know if we have any of the other questions. I know Caribbean Curl said that she left because I think she, is she overseas? I think she's overseas because I think she's several hours ahead. So
Hi, Kate Sherelle. Kate Sherelle says hi.
hey, Keisha. Oh no, wait, that's the wrong one. Missed some Well, I think we just missed some comments. Ladies, we definitely want to. We've got about 15 minutes left. Would love to take your questions. I mean, we've said a lot um about commanding versus demanding, and it really is about that femininity that you can command the love you want. You can command the respect you want, the treatment that you want, the provision that you want, the protection that you want, the leadership that you want, the problem solving that you want, the adoration that you want. You can command that. You don't have to demand that. You don't have to be like, this is what I need and this is how I need it and this is when you're gonna give it to me, or y'all better give me a raise, or you better treat me right, or y'all better treat me equal. And I'm telling you, you might I was debating if I was gonna say this, but we out here, okay? If you hang in with groups or if you have bought into mindsets of women who have made men the enemy, um, who are arguing against them, who are demanding that they treat them better. It's kind of like when you go to somebody to give you something you already have, by default, you are insinuating that they are better than you because you are unaware of your own value. How can I beg somebody to treat me right, pay me well, this or whatever, when I already have the capability inside of me? You're almost shooting yourself in the foot by the sheer argument, right? And so I would just say, be cautious as to what belief systems you buy into in regards to that. Here's the thing: if you want the feminine ease, then I would be cautious. If you're like, hey, what I'm doing is working for me, is it? But if you believe it is, keep doing what you're doing, right? But you're gonna get what you get. So you're gonna get what you want, but you ain't gonna want what you got. So yeah, I mean, so like as you guys type your questions about anything we talked about, femininity, you know, influential authority, which is ours, versus positional authority. Um, any of the things we talked about. Patricia, you kind of want to do a recap while the ladies are getting their questions in, or anything that you wanted to add?
Sure, sure. You know, well, one thing I kind of want to like underline is that um, equal in value. And I don't want anyone to walk away saying that we are saying that we should not have equal rights or anything like that, and that we're not equally as valuable. I think what we're saying more than anything is that we are,
Right.
but we function differently. Our roles are different, our strengths are different. And when our differences come together, they work perfectly together. And that's what we're saying. To not let society or not allow society to make you believe that you are less than and you have to fight for what they have, rather than cherishing what we have been uniquely given, you know. And I think that's important. Um, well, as it relates to demanding and commanding, we talked about tantrums earlier, and somebody said in the chat that people don't respect tantrums, and that is true. Um, we need to be able to command, to empower, to influence, to inspire. These are the mediums in which we influence, in which we affect change, and in the ways where we're the most effective, to the point where we even have to scale back a little bit and be intentional and be wise and be discerning when we are moving. So yeah, I just encourage you guys to lean into your femininity, and know your value, know your worth, and stop trying to fight for what you really don't want.
I will say it again, because you will get what you think you want, but you ain't gonna want what you get. And y'all know y'all seen it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this was really good because I do think that, like we said before, when you don't know how you function, and ladies, if you're like, this was great, where do I start? Get to reading and understanding your design as a woman, and get to reading and understanding the design of men. Because I would never forget, there was a quote that I read, and I wish I could tell you who said it, but they were like, a lot of women have the belief that men are just a dysfunctional, misbehaving woman. And I was like, that is so true. When they don't think like us, we think that they're malfunctioning. When they don't function like us, we think that they're doing something wrong. When they don't solve a problem the way we would solve a problem, we think they're doing it wrong. When they don't react the way we react, we think something they're broken. And the reality is, no, they are different, and we need that. We don't even need to tolerate it. We need to embrace it and celebrate it and see it as valuable, just as we are working to see the value in ourselves. So I think, I mean, that was a major mindset shift for me, was like, men are not a misbehaving woman. They're men. So, okay, G Angel asked the question, when did you both realize the value of your power?
When? Hmm. The value of my power. I'd have to open that up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like such a simple question. There's a lot there. I think for me, there wasn't one moment. I think I didn't even know that I had a power. And then I was like, oh, like I'm telling you, it's like finding out that you can fly or something, or finding it's like finding out that you can be invisible or something. It literally is a superpower. And I think for me, I found the power first. And I'm not gonna lie, it scared the crap out of me. I was, because once I realized it and I started leaning into it, I remember telling my mom, I was like, legit, at first I was like, I feel like I'm manipulating. And I was like, I'm not trying to manipulate. I was like, how is this so easy? Like, how is this work? Like, how am I getting what I want so easily from other people, not just men? And so it was a process of learning about this power. And I recently did a video talking about this. Like, there was a point in my life where the word femininity wasn't even a part of my vocabulary, right? And so realizing there's this thing that I don't want to say born with, I was designed in a certain way. And then once I realized, it's like finding out your phone can do stuff you didn't know that your phone can do. You thought your phone could just make calls and text messages, and then you realize your phone can like scan QR codes, scan documents, write a passport. I don't know. Like, it's like finding out you can do all these things, and so it's like I found the power first, and then when I started learning how to leverage that power is when I saw the value in the power, if that makes sense, right? So it's kind of like, oh, I found out my phone can do these cool things, but then once I realized, like, oh, I don't have to go like to FedEx office to scan a document. I can scan it on my phone and save it as a PDF. That's really valuable to me, right? Like, so it was a process, but I think the sad part about it is men had been trying to tell me for years. So men are very aware of our power and the value of it,
Yep.
better than we are.
They are. I think for me, um, it happened back in, I would say, 2015. Like, I can actually remember it. And the first area I saw it was in work, at work. Um, and it was, around the time I was sharing with you guys with the story with the donuts, because I wasn't functioning in my masculine there, because I wasn't actively striving for any particular thing. I was there as a travel nurse. I was there for a goal, and I knew I had to do my time, and then I was going to be gone. So I wasn't there necessarily to climb a corporate ladder or anything like that. And so when I went there, I was naturally functioning in my femininity. I was building relationships, like things that I just didn't do at work. you know, Actually building relationships. This was the first time I ever like really went out with coworkers and like on a regular basis, to the point where we had, what was it? It was every Tuesday we'd go. I forget what we called it, but every Tuesday we would go out. And so I was forming relationships. I was coming early and bringing donuts and getting everybody in a good mood. And I was helping people and nurturing people when they would come to me about like their out of work problems and all of these things that were happening. And not, and also my boss at the time was male. And so leaning into that part of me was part of the reason I believe I was able to get a promotion in that area. And so while I'm like, yes, I was exhibiting, leadership, and people just were naturally drawn to me because of all of those reasons. And because of that reason, I was able to exhibit leadership skills, and that's part of the reason why I was promoted. And so I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, I wasn't trying. Like I only have a few weeks left here. Like I wasn't trying for this. I was leaning into who I am, who I was. And that's the first time I saw it. And I was like, ooh,
This is a thing.
like, ooh, okay. And I think from there, I realized, I guess my femininity journey probably started, and it went past, like you said, masks and nails and makeup or whatever, which I've always loved, but reached deeper. And that's really when it started. I'm like, wow, my femininity can knock me into six figures. Yeah, this is valuable.
Girl, let me tell you, I did a video one time talking, like, people ask me like how I've been able to work with like certain clientele, and I'm like, I never pitched them. Like, striving is the opposite of femininity. When you're in your femininity, you attract things to you like a magnet. Um,
Gina talks about that.
yeah, like, and it's so hard to explain. Like, until you experience it, it's almost hard to explain, and it sounds very intangible and very woo woo. And I have to catch myself when I'm striving, like, because I can slip into it from time to time, and then be like, why? It feels like a gear that's stuck, right? And when I let go, loosen up the grip, stuff start coming in. Like, it's always, let me tell you, it's always amazing to me. Whenever I take off from my business, is when I have the highest sales. It's the oddest thing. Whenever I'm like, I'm just about to be off. I'm just going to enjoy my home. I'm gonna work on me or whatever. Like, so for example, like this month, I took off the month, right? So haven't been uploading on my Chef Evelyn channel. The stuff that I have been uploading on this channel was pre-recorded. I'm not doing a lot of my normal business stuff, right? I'm having one of the highest sales months I've ever had because my energy is focused inward. And it's kind of like dealing with a man. Like, a man can tell when your energy is coming towards him or when your energy is turned towards you. When your energy is turned towards you, it's like a magnet. He will be drawn to you. If your energy is turned towards him, he will run. Right? It's that magnet. So yeah, I know that. So I know it's kind of woo wooey, but like, I don't know how else to explain it. Um, do we have any other questions? Like, I think that was a good question. So yeah, it's been several years for both of us. Girl, this was good.
Yes.
At least it was good to us. Oh my goodness. I would say this. I think next week we're back on my channel, right?
Mhm.
And y'all, like, ask your questions. I mean, we just be coming up with topics. So if there's something that you want us to discuss, oh, I owe somebody an answer. I got a question on Instagram. I am so sorry. Um, I hope she watches to the end. She asked about any tips on forming good habits. Should we make next week about habits? I read a whole book about habits this year, and it was fantastic.
Let's do that.
Or should we read it?
Let's do that. Let's make next week about formulating or forming good habits.
Okay,
I think that's a good topic.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, I will write it down because I'll forget. So for the person who asked me the question, we're just gonna make a whole live about it. And I don't know if you're watching live or if you're going to watch a replay, but if your name is Catherine and you filled out an application with me, I don't have your contact information, like your email address or phone number. So if you could email me through my website or send me a DM on social media, I haven't forgotten about you. I just don't have your contact information. So, Catherine, if you're out there, girl, I saw it come through and realized I didn't have your contact information. So, that's it. This was good.
Yes.
She Angel says, thank you, ladies. Thank y'all for being here. Listen, if you know some women who could benefit from these live streams, please share them, invite them to the live. I think I'm gonna put a playlist together with all our lives in it. Patricia,
Mhm.
Then if you want to put it on your channel, but I'm definitely going to pull the videos from your channel and put it on my channel in a playlist. So that if y'all ever just want to binge watch or come back and rewatch, because I can tell you, you may hear it today and then come back 3 months from now and hear something that you didn't hear before because you're in a different place. I would suggest that you do that. So, anything else before we go, Patricia?
No, that's it. It's good to be here again, and I can't wait till next week.
All right, y'all. Bye bye.